And in our search for credible and reliable partners, we believe that we could not have better strategic partners than Russia. That is part of the reason we are here. And we're looking forward to a very fruitful relationship, and to quote from you again, and based on my president's philosophy, a relationship of mutual understanding, mutual respect for all the parties, and the shared values that we enjoy. We have enjoyed a lot of support from you, to which the earliest scholars in the Gambia, especially our doctors, surgeons in the medical field, were trained here in Russia, and mainly as grants towards our socio-economic development. Even still, currently, we have Gambian students in Russia. We've enjoyed a lot of support and cooperation from you. We bring that message of gratitude and look forward to an engagement that would be even more mutually beneficial. And we thank you again for receiving us on behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia. Thank you.
Мы также получаем поддержку в сфере обучения кадров, например, медиков. И даже сейчас некоторые студенты из Гамбии обучаются в России. Мы хотим поблагодарить вас за это и надеемся на еще более плодотворное сотрудничество в этой сфере. Благодарю вас за ваш прием. Спасибо.
Рады вас видеть, и давайте продолжим нашу беседу.
I'm glad to see you, and let's continue our talks.
Thank you.
Russia Foreign Minister Lavrov also added will further deepen its involvement in the Gambia's booming tourism industry, fishing and education sectors. This visit by a high-level Gambian government delegation to Moscow will further strengthen ties between Banjul and Moscow. For Grts News, this is Babukar Sewa.
Child Fund The Gambia has handed over four containers of books to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for onward distribution to schools. Winifred Nicole Hadibert has details of that story in this report.
To improving the lot of children in the country, Child Fund The Gambia recently handed over 4 containers laden with books for primary education to its development partners, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. The books will be distributed to children through MOPSI as a development mechanism. Child funding constitutes the highest chunk of sponsorship received by Child Fund the world over. These books handed over is part of efforts to complementing the government in providing quality education, thereby transforming the lives and livelihoods of Gambian children. Citing the numerous efforts Child Fund is embarking on in providing conducive environment for children and enhancing quality education, Ami Kolembai, Director of Basic and Secondary Education, who also doubles as the chairperson of Child Fund Advisory Body, hailed the organization for its relentless effort in fulfilling its mandate of support to the less privileged children.
These books that are going to be handed over to the ministry will add value to the children's learning, particularly in the areas of science, because if you look at the list, it's mainly science books. And we are providing a total of 139 books, which costs almost 5.7 million Israeli. It's a clear indication of Child Fund's efforts in complementing government to achieve education, quality education for all.
Serving in the country for 30 years now, Child Fund has long collaborated with MOPSI in addressing priority needs of the education sector. Speaking at the occasion, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Babukar Boy, recognized the efforts of Child Fund in bettering the lives of Gambian children through finance and material support.
I see writing and comprehension. I see literature. These are books that would help, in the area of the teaching and learning of English. Of course, not to talk about the mathematics and the science texts, algebra, chemistry, geometry, pre-algebra, calculus. These are books that I'm sure would help teaching and learning of mathematics and science as well as English in our schools. And I want to, appreciate Child Fund for, really looking for support from outside to help, the education sector.
Aside from the presentation of 4 container books, Child Fund has also provided funds for the distribution process, which, according to officials, will target children from across the country. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Winifred Nicole Hodibat.
A horrific accident involving 3 vehicles has left a number of people dead. The crash occurred in the early hours of Saturday morning along the Batil Hardin Highway. Earlier, Ababuka Sengo spoke to police PRO about the accident. Let's take a listen.
It's the charred remains of one of 3 vehicles that were involved in a very fatal accident during the early hours of this morning. Sometime around 4:25 a.m. this morning. This vehicle, a BMW X6, driven by one Mahmoud Bruchi, who had a passenger with him, a lady named Christiana Sabra, but commonly known as Aisha. Mahmoud Bruchi is a Gambian Lebanese, and Christiana Sabra is, or commonly known Aisha, is a Sierra Leonean national. They were coming from the Senegambia end towards the traffic light. But in front of them was driving another BMW registered BJL 0983F, driven by one Saja Low. This Mahmoud one tried to overtake Saja, but hit him on the back. Now, when that happened, Saja lost control of his vehicle, and the car swerved and went to the other side of the road. Meanwhile, a passenger vehicle registered BGL 9503F, driven by one Pariman City, was driving from traffic light end towards Senegambia. And just at that same time, he came by this vehicle that has lots of control of the way and was on the side of the road and hit it headlong on the side.
We are talking about a massive crash here.
It is a massive crash.
And I know investigations are
yes, you can even from what we have seen, you can see that there was speeding, overspeeding, unnecessary overspeeding that must have led to this massive damage on the vehicles. Now, the driver of this vehicle, Mahmoud, died on the spot, and even the bonnet was burnt completely from head to toe. Christiana or Isa was rescued from the vehicle, but then she later succumbed to death at the hospital.
How about the rest?
Thank God, Saja had survived the accident, but Fariman, who was in the Passat, that was driving from the traffic light and also died from this accident.
We are talking about a number of deaths.
These were 3 deaths in the same accident.
Well,
but not only that, there is a catch to this. The occurrence of this accident, led to another death. But we'll come to that when we finish the details of this one.
Look, of late the police, especially your unit, have been ramping up the call for drivers to
on radio,
yes,
on television. We have always talked about overspeeding, the problems we have relating with road crashes and accidents. Most of the problem boils down to overspeeding. We have clamored for good roads. We now have them. The roads are very good. NRA is doing very well. The shoulders of the road are being repaired. You can drive without any problems. You have traffic signs indicating that you are not supposed to overspeed. But we are not considering all of these things. We are not heeding at all. We are overspeeding and causing a lot of wreckage on our roads.
Where do we go from here?
Well, this should be an awakening. 3 precious lives lost in one impact. And to add on to the one I mentioned earlier, people are in the habit of giving information too quickly. Somebody who knew this Mahmoud one and came by the accident called a friend or a brother and told him of the accident. The guy came, witnessed the accident, and what was driving, I think he was in shock. He also lost control of his vehicle, had an accident, and he also died.
Well, time now to take our first break. Stay tuned.
Gambia